Ohtani reacts to his worst outing of the year for him so far. Also gives an update after taking a line drive off the leg from Arcia, 92 plus miles per hour. The Dodgers can't keep doing this. And you know what I'm talking about. And we'll talk about it next on the Dodgers Nation postgame show.
Oh, Mookie Betts with his 15th Mookie Magic!
This Dodgers team is built to win back-to-back World Series.
One-of-a-kind player! One-of-a-kind season! Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone!
There's nothing that brings us together quite like Dodger baseball. What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to the Dodgers Nation post-game show. My name is Doug McKain. I cover the Dodgers for Dodgers Nation, credentialed member of the media. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. Thanks for rocking with us after the Dodgers lose their second in their last three games to the Colorado Rockies in a game where they didn't just lose, they got blown out. They lose by a final score of 8-3. And now they sit at 72-55. And with the Padres up right now on the Giants, the Dodgers lead in the National League West could be down to one game. Currently, the score of the Padres game is a 7-1 lead for San Diego in the top of the eighth inning. So, barring a miracle, the Padres are going to take that one, and they'll close within a game of the Dodgers in the division. And then another thing to worry about is where the Dodgers are at in their National League seeding. Now, after this loss, you're behind the Phillies by 2 games for the number 2 seed in the National League. And if you don't finish with one of those top 2 seeds, well, guess what? You got to play extra baseball. Last season, they had the best record in the National League. They had the best record in baseball, and that allowed them to avoiding that initial series. So now, if the season would end today, it'd be the Phillies and the Brewers that would take those top 2 seeds, and then the Dodgers, you would have to take on the worst wild card team in a 3-game series, and right now that would be the New York Mets, and that sets back your rotation. It forces you to play extra baseball. You just don't want to do that. So on top of everything else, you got the Padres to worry about, you got the Phillies to worry about, and you're just playing bad baseball. Tonight, yes, it was Shohei Ohtani's first start in a regular season game at Coors Field, and we're going to hear from Shohei here in just a couple seconds. And it was his worst outing. Went 4 innings, gave up 5 runs on 9 hits, 3 strikeouts, no walks through 66 pitches. They were hoping to get him through 5 innings. Last couple starts, you've seen him allow more runs. His start before this, you saw him kind of go back and forth from looking really dominant to there's some moments where you kind of want to have that pitch back and you sort of remember that, hey, this is a guy coming back from a second major arm surgery. But all in all, I mean, the start against the Angels, when he gave 4 runs, gave up the home run, went 4 1/3. Tonight, 5 runs in 4 innings. So 9 runs in his last 2 starts for Shohei. That's certainly not the kind of outings he wants to put together. I think tonight you kind of have to chalk this one up to Coors Field being Coors Field a little bit. 6 of the 9 hits he gave up weren't hard contact, and there were some pitches he did not execute there. Sure, there's talk, we need to see more splitter from Shohei to put guys away. But his StatCast numbers, they're still really good. They really say that this guy has dominant stuff. I mean, he came into the start with a 2.26 expected ERA to 3.47 ERA. So, I mean, I don't necessarily believe that's a splitter that's holding him back. But the most important thing about this game, and yes, this was right up there with the many frustrating losses that the Dodgers have suffered this season, but I don't care if the Dodgers lost this game by 50 runs, it still feels like they dodged a bullet. It still feels like you can exhale because Shohei Ohtani left this game earlier. I mean, he might have came out for another inning, but he did leave this game when the Dodgers were down 5 runs. Alex Call pinch hit for him. And tomorrow he's going to be off. He was already scheduled to be off tomorrow with a 12 o'clock game here this time. And he was already going to get some rest, but maybe he'll need some extended rest because he definitely did not look like he was at 100%. And when he initially suffered the line drive where it's the fifth inning, it was 92.5 miles per hour off the bat. It was a line drive by Orlando Arcia. It went right off Ohtani's right leg, and he recovered the ball in foul territory after it ricocheted off of his leg. He was limping. He was being ginger on it. Dave Roberts, the trainers came out, and thankfully he was able to stay in that game. And then he still had an at-bat where he drew a walk before he ultimately was pinch hit for later in the eighth inning for Alex Call. But you don't want to see that. Dodgers fans were holding their breath, and it just goes to show how important it is to realize that anything can happen on any given pitch. So I'm surprised they didn't just take him out of the game. I would have taken him out of the game and just made sure there was nothing wrong with him, especially when you look at the lineup that they had, the way the offense was performing, the at-bat quality in this one, the odds of you winning this game were low to begin with. But give him credit. He stayed in the game. He toughed it out, was able to get out of that inning from a velocity standpoint. There wasn't a massive drop-off from his stuff. So that's also encouraging. And if he was seriously hurt, he most likely would have gotten out of that game. But he went out there and he found a way to finish the job after he went out there. And after the Arcia hit, you got to give him some credit that, he was able to stay in the game and execute some pitches and try to cover some more. But clearly, it wasn't going to be the right move to keep him in the game. So let's hear from Shohei Ohtani. We got a full board of chats and comments. Let it all out. Let this be your Dodgers therapy. This was an unenjoyable game to watch. It looked like it was going to get off to a good start when Shohei had the leadoff double. But this offense, inexcusable performance by the Dodgers bats. And we are going to get to them in a second, but first, let's hear from Shohei Ohtani after the game.
Well, first, Shohei, Dave Roberts told us that it got you more on your thigh. So how are you feeling? I know you just had some treatment, but are you concerned about just any limitations moving forward?
監督から言われたんですけど、太ももに当たったと、今の状態、ちょっと今後に影響するような感じになりますか？
前と同じデッドボールの時と同じような場所に当たってはしてましたけど、今の段階では大丈夫なんじゃないかなとは思ってますし、しっかりケアをして通常の状態に早く戻れるようには努めたいなと思ってます。
I got hit in the same spot, hit by a pitch, and right now it feels pretty good. I'm going to do everything in my ability to make sure that it doesn't affect me moving forward.
Will you be in the lineup on Friday in San Diego?
打線に戻れそうですか？
そうですね、そのために今もそうです、今のケアもそうですけど、明日も、しっかりケアをして、さっき言いましたけど、通常の状態に早く戻れるように努めたいなと思っています。
That's my intention, just making sure I get my treatment, and the goal is to make sure that I'm back to normal again.
Stuff-wise, how do you assess just how today's outing went for you on the mound?
今日登板振り返ってみてどう思いますか？
そうですね、チームに申し訳ないですし、ただ自分の投球に不満があるというか、情けないなという投球内容だったかなと思います。
It's very regrettable. Put the team in a bad spot. It was just a very regrettable outing that I wish I could have done better.
Does he feel like the injury, like he's lucky the injury could have been worse?
怪我がもうちょっと悪化する可能性もあったと思うんですけども、そうでなかったっていうので少し安心してますか？
そうですね、膝ではなかったので、最悪のシチュエーションではなかったとは思ってますし、しっかりと明日以降経過を観察しながらやりたいなと思ってます。
I'm glad that it didn't hit the knee. I think we avoided the worst case scenario, so I'm going to focus on the treatment.
Was the altitude, did that have anything to do with anything tonight? I know you made one start here in the All-Star game, but this is your first regular season start here.
標高の影響でボールの球が影響すると思いますけども、過去にオールスターで投げてますけど、そういうのも少しは影響ありましたか？
そこはもうブルペンで確認しながら、ボールが動かないっていうのはしっかり理解しながらマウンドには上がっているので、もちろん言い訳にはならないかなとは思いますし、もちろん次ここで投げる機会があった時に今日の経験っていうのをしっかり次に生かせるように、まずしっかりと反省したいなと思ってます。
I was aware in my bullpen session that the ball doesn't move quite as much as it does in normal sea level. But again, that's not an excuse, and it's something that I'm going to make sure I work on next time I pitch here in Coors Field.
Did you feel any effect of the altitude on yourself, on your body, or the way you felt throughout the game?
体に影響したような感じはしましたかと。
いや特にそこは感じないというか、ただただ自分の投球内容としてゲームの中で思うようにいかないときに、一つでも二つでも工夫できるところがもう少し増えるといいのかなと思いますし、術後のどんどんリハビリの過程でイニングが増えていく中で、もう少し先発投手としてそういう引き出しが出てくればもう少し違う結果になっているのかなと思っています。
I don't think it had any effect on the body. Just really was not happy with the results overall, and in a situation like this, I just wish I was a little bit more creative and finding different ways to, as a starting pitcher, just be able to execute. And I know this is kind of the tail end of the rehab process, so it's really important for me to make sure that as a starting pitcher, I find ways to be creative and find ways to get outs.
So they were Shohei Ohtani after his start, and his stuff overall just wasn't playing like we've seen it play in his return when he's been at his best. If you look at some of his StatCast numbers on the night, from a velocity standpoint, the velo was down a tick. The four-seam fastball was down 1.5 miles. He maxed out at 99.1 miles per hour, but sweeper, slider, sinker, not a lot of that four-seam fastball. So he just didn't have the feel, the command for it. So I'm not going to make too much about it. I'm not going to take too much away from a start at Coors Field. I don't think that this is an indictment of Shohei as a pitcher. I don't think this necessarily reflects fatigue or anything like that. It was a bad start at Coors Field. But what I do think is that when you look at his start, and let's take a look at it, he allowed 2 runs in the second inning. There off 3 hits. Brent Doyle, he doubled down the left field line. That scored the first run. Also set up the Rockies' second one with runners on second and third. Then Arcia hit a sac fly to right to make it 2-0 Rockies in the second. Then the 4th inning, the Rockies get 5 straight hits off Shohei to open the frame. So 5 straight hits, had some not terrible pitches, did have a lot of soft contact. And as we've seen this series, what has been one of the big takeaways this series, the outfield defense has been atrocious at times, and it reared its ugly head once again. Bad outfield defense continues to hurt the Dodgers, and we saw more of that again tonight in Colorado after a Beck single. Barnable, he doubled to left, and Conforto, he made an awful throw that shortstop Miguel Rojas just couldn't handle. That scored a run to make it 3-0. So an error on Pages, and then an error on Conforto, and then Andy Pages, he made a terrible decision by throwing to third base, where you just don't want to do that. You want to set it up, and the Dodgers, they were able to avoid any damage with that errant throw, but still just bad defense. And Michael Conforto did not play that well, did not make a good throw. The defense has been bad all season long with Conforto in right field, and Mateo in right field and Conforto in left field. And I think tonight what you're seeing is, look, hopefully Dave Roberts sent a message to Conforto, and that message was loud and clear that, hey, if you're not going to hit, if the defense is going to be bad, we're going to move off you, because he's blocking left field from Teoscar Hernandez. He's blocking it. And yes, it was not a good night for Shohei Ohtani. 5 runs, And in his first 8 starts combined this year, 19 innings, he gave up 5 runs. So now he's allowed 9 runs in 9 1/3 innings his last 2 outings. So look, progress is not always linear for guys coming back off surgeries. You're late in the season. The offense for him has been spectacular lately. He's been the hottest hitter in August, is getting on base at a high clip, slugging as well. This one he doubled. He also drew a walk. So the offense has been great. But the biggest takeaway in this game is this was a loss that I think epitomizes this Dodgers season so far. This was the most 2025 Dodgers type of loss, where you get a big win the night before. It looks like you have a chance to at least maintain a 2-game lead in your division. And the very next day, you're going up against a pitcher in Tanner Gordon, who entered this start with an 8.30 career ERA in 16 starts. 16 starts in his career, Tanner Gordon had an 8.30 ERA. He had an ERA north of 7 for this year. And you're only able to get 3 hits off of him after that Shohei Ohtani double. You're able to get the home run from Teoscar Hernandez, the solo shot there in the 6th inning. But that was inexcusable to not be able to muster up more offense at Coors Field against a bad pitcher. Why does a Dodgers offense that has this much talent, and yes, Mookie's in the lineup today. Max Muncy didn't have a chance. He's not in the lineup right now, right? I mean, he's injured. Kike, Edman, sure, they're missing some guys, but you got Will, you got Teo, you got Shohei, you got Freddie, you got Pages, you got guys that should be able to get a rally going against the Rockies and a bad pitcher. They made this guy look like he was an all-star tonight, and he's certainly not that. And you look at the last 9 games for the Dodgers, they've lost 5 of their last 9 games. 3 have been to a 4th-place team in the Angels, and 2 have been to one of the worst teams in baseball over the last decade. And now the Rockies have a better record than the Dodgers since July 4th. It doesn't make sense with the kind of talent that you have on this team. And you ask yourself, hey, man, it'd be nice to have some offense tonight. Where could I get some offense? Anyone got some offense? I feel like Dave Chappelle. You got any of that offense? You got any of those hits? I don't know. There was a guy who had 4 hits yesterday, almost hit for the cycle, had a couple singles, a double, and a home run, and he was El Bencho, getting splinters and doesn't get at bat till late in this one. And yes, he's a right-handed batter, and you want a lefty on the mound, so you're going to put Michael Conforto in that situation. Look, let's be honest here. They need to take the L on Michael Conforto. And I think what they're doing is waiting until Kike and Edman get back. They can move Teo to left, and you can possibly move Andy Pages to right, and you can have Edman and Kike play center, and you look at that configuration. But you need wins. Mookie's sitting. And you need his bat in the lineup. I mean, does the team not want to win this division? Because you had a nice 2-game lead after sweeping the Padres, and then you lose 2 games to the Rockies. It just doesn't make sense to lose like this. The offense is always going to be the biggest difference on this team. It really, really is. And the offense, they just did not show up today. Yes, it wasn't a good start for Shohei Ohtani, but there's no way that as a team, you can't just blame this one on baseball. Like, there's a lot of randomness in baseball when it comes to the postseason, and even great teams lose 40, 50 games. But this is an awful Rockies team with an awful pitcher on the mound, and you didn't score anything outside of a late home run by Teoscar Hernandez. That was a solo shot. Like, just inexcusable offense tonight for the Dodgers. Just an embarrassing showing. I mean, this team is too talented. They are too talented to perform like this. They really, really are. Here was Dave Roberts after the loss.
Well, Dave, first, just how is Shohei doing? You know, you took him out of the game for those final at-bats. Just was that due to the score? Was that due to the comeback? Or kind of what went into that decision?
I think I took him out because
A little bit of the score, a little bit, most part of it because it was getting stiff and there was some swelling there. So it was in the thigh, fortunately, and not off the knee. But it got him square. And so right now he's getting treatment. And so, I felt as the game was going to go on, it was going to stiffen up more.
Stuff-wise, with his outing today, what were you seeing from him that just kind of led to them being able to kind of stack on some, whether it's hits or runs?
I just don't think today Shohei had his best stuff. The fastball wasn't as good as it typically is. The breaking ball wasn't as sharp. And so the cutter, the same thing. So I just think that today just wasn't his night. And even talking to Mark in the pen, it just didn't seem like the stuff was there tonight. And not that it always correlates, but tonight I just don't think he his stuff wasn't there.
Are you confident Shohei will be back in the lineup on Friday?
I'm hopeful. Obviously, he was already scheduled to be down tomorrow. So with tomorrow, I'm pretty confident. I am. I'm confident.
Is this one of those things where you have to wait a day to see how it reacts overnight?
You do, but when you're talking about a contusion to the thigh, it's not as. We'll see how he comes out of it. But again, guys get hit all the time, by a pitcher and obviously not by a batted ball. But I'm hopeful, confident. But again, we have to see how he comes in on Friday.
So missing the bone is the key thing for you.
Absolutely.
No imaging or anything necessary.
I don't think so. I don't think with where it was at, I don't think there needs to be any imaging.
What much was your heart in your throat when that happened?
You know what it was, and then I was just really relieved that it was the thigh because it hit him flush. And so, again, if you're talking about the kneecap, that's a different conversation. So certainly when I saw the ball mark on his thigh, very very relieved relative to the situation.
So, like I said, this is a bad loss, but it's not a nightmare. A nightmare would have been Shohei Ohtani, who was injured, and you have to lose him for any extended period of time would absolutely destroy what this team is trying to accomplish this year. But it's really mind-boggling. It truly is. The lineup construction with Michael Conforto just continue to get opportunities, and tonight Michael Conforto once again did not come through anyway. 0 for 4. You guys would have called him Michael Conforto. What's your nickname for him? Tonight would be the name for that. The Dodgers, they're able just to muster up 6 hits in this one, just 4 off the starter. And after that, they got 2 hits off of Hill late. They mustered a little offense late. It was the Chris Paul meme, just scoring some points in a game where you're not going to come back. In the 9th inning, they were able to get some hits, and Rojas doubled to left to score a couple runs to make it an 8-3 game. But you look at 6 hits. 6 hits at Coors Field against bad pitchers. They only had 5 opportunities with runners in scoring position, and Rojas was the only one to come through, and that was late in the game. Teo goes 0 for 1. I think sequence-wise, the biggest missed opportunity for the offense came with their best hitter this year, Will Smith. In the top of the 5th inning, the Dodgers trying to get back in this one. Enough outs, enough time to make this one interesting. After a Rojas 1-out single and an Ohtani 2-out walk, the Dodgers had runners on first and second with 2 outs and Will Smith at the plate, and just not a good at-bat there. It's a 1-1 count, and he fouls to first. You're not seeing up pitches. You're not working deep counts. And I think, too, it's a personnel thing. It's a personnel thing. It's kind of one of those things where when you look back at some of the lineups last year and you see like Kevin Biggio and guys like that, and you know that those guys won't be on the postseason roster, but you look at Buddy Kennedy, Alex Freeland, Michael Conforto. I think you could safely say that 3 of these guys are not going to be 3 of the 9 hitters on a Dodgers postseason roster game. But look, like I said, if there's one thing that you need from this and you want to feel good about this is if you think that you're at least getting full evaluation of players to be able to make a decision that you feel good about. But think about this. I was thinking about this before the show. Chris Taylor, they say goodbye to him because of his bat, but at least he provided some positional versatility, infield, outfield. He could run. You owed him the same amount of money. Yes, he was a right-handed bat versus a left-handed bat. But Michael Conforto is getting the longest leash. It's the longest. It's a leash so long it's big enough for Clifford, the big red dog. It's such a long leash. And I think at some point the organization needs to ask themselves, hey, are we just going to just robotically say, okay, platoon advantage, not go with Alex Call because of his splits, is so much better against lefties and righties? Or are you just going to give an opportunity to ride the hot hand? I mean, he's a guy who found something in a bat, and he's just kind of riding a nice little wave. And sure, Gordon's a guy that he wouldn't have the platoon advantage against, but when you're playing without Mookie Betts and you're playing without Max Muncy and you're playing without a lot of key members in this lineup, then sometimes I think you have to break your own rules and give guys that are actually hitting, like Alex Call, the call. Better call, right? So, yeah, this was one of the most frustrating games. It truly, truly was. Shohei Ohtani, like I said, didn't have the fastball working for him today, and when he's got that four-seamer pumping at triple digits and he's locating, it sets up the sweeper. But not going to take too much out from that. A couple updates on injured guys. Roki Sasaki, he went tonight. It was actually a positive showing for Roki Sasaki. In this one, he threw 60 pitches. He went 3 1/3 innings, gave up 2 runs on 3 hits, had 2 strikeouts and 3 walks. His heater, though, topped out at 98 miles per hour. And of the 3 hits he gave up, 2 of them were singles that didn't hit the grass in the outfield. They were on the infield. So that was impressive. And then Michael Kopech, he went out in Tacoma tonight. He gave up 1 hit, no runs, had a strikeout, 2 walks, 25 pitches, 11 for strike. So wasn't commanding the heater, but still, that is a positive outing. And then tomorrow, you've got Chase Dollander for the Rockies. And you look at him and you say, wait a minute, Chase Dollander, a 6.43 ERA at Coors Field, the Dodgers should be fine, right? Well, no Ohtani in the lineup. And the way this team hit today, yeah, you can't say anything is an automatic. But all right, guys, welcome to the Dodgers Nation postgame show. We'll take all your comments now. I know, guys, you're grinding through this season. D-Mac, you said, in Freedom we trust. Michael Negretti. I mean, his team's still in first place. The thing that scares me is I don't want to have to play a 3-game wild card round against a team. You got to find a way to catch the Phillies. You got to find a way to get that number 2 seed potentially, the way that plays out. We got Kentangra 75. How do you expect to win a World Series at this rate? Dusty Willis, Ohtani is still the best player in the modern era. Fight me. That's like the coldest take I've ever heard. I mean, who's debating that? Even Yankees, you could say Judge is a better hitter, but I mean, no one is claiming that he's not. Claudia Oral needs, you don't like Oral tonight? I thought it was keeping it interesting, breaking down the pitching side. Who's you guys' favorite of the analysts? Do you like Oral? Do you like EK, Don Trell, Jessica Mendoza? Am I missing anyone? I am done with Conforto. Roy Estrada, D-Mac blocked the. He's not. I thought I blocked him. Okay, don't worry, guys. Once and for all, this will feel like a win. Let me find him. Where are you? I'll be like Jaws. Done. Okay, Evan G. You are blocked. Block party. Went full Dikembe Mutombo on you. Sierra, Dodgers are playing down to the competition, and that has been something we've seen this year, certainly. We've got Why Are the Young Cats Doing All the Work? That's from Jack Hazard. Delirium in the comments. What's up, Delirium? BL Boyd. Corpino. We've got all the reporters. Dave sounds confused. That's from Gregory. Smith has dropped on a clip after the All-Star break. Yeah, I mean, after the All-Star break, he had a 3-hit game yesterday, so that definitely is a positive. But you're right. I mean, he has been struggling to start August. But if we're talking about post-All-Star break, if you want to kind of take a look at the truth, I mean, women lie, men lie, but numbers do not. And we know that since the All-Star break, there has been some guys that have struggled more than others. But you look at Will Smith, and Will Smith in the month of August, he's cooled down. He definitely has cooled down in the month of August. He had the 3-hit game yesterday. but Smith hitting 174 in August. Shohei Ohtani hitting 385. Freddie hitting. Andy Pages has been, no one's really talking about that either. Andy Pages has had a sub 700 OPS for 3 of the last 4 months. And yes, he has been an above average bat, and he's had a couple months of OPSs of up to over 900. But yeah, I mean, he's a guy that, are we sure? Are we 100% sure Andy Pages is a lock just to be an every inning type of player in the postseason? I mean, if he hits like he's capable, sure. And the defense definitely is a plus. But I think Andy Pages, not enough people are talking about the fact that, hasn't hit a home run outside of Dodger Stadium since April, has had below average offense for the last 2 months. So, he's another guy that you really want to see get going. But the biggest, I'm telling you, I think the Dodgers got baseball fished. Not catfish. They got baseball fished by Michael Conforto. Yes, he did have a nice series against the Padres, and that was encouraging. But as a whole, after the All-Star break, it has just been a major, major struggle for Michael Conforto. I mean, since the trade deadline, it's been a struggle. So he had that nice lead up to the trade deadline, but since then he's gone 6 for 44. 6 for 44 since the trade deadline. He's in 136 since the deadline. So, it's rough. I mean, we talked so much about this, so it's almost it feels like we're beating to a dead horse. But if it's so obvious to you, it's so obvious to me. It should be obvious to the organization. And really, I think the big kicker in all this, getting guys back. Paul Gervais, he was called up from AAA. Want to point that out. The Dodgers optioned Alexis Diaz. He made his debut, gave up 1 run in 2 innings. He's 6'10". He's the tallest Dodger player ever. He passes former NBA player and left-handed pitcher Mark Hendrickson at 6'9". So big dude. 39th pitcher used for the Dodgers this season. That's tied with the D-backs for the most in Major League Baseball. It's 4 behind the Mets. The Dodgers, if they use one more pitcher, they'll tie their franchise record at 40 that they used last year. So we'll see about that. But what is your fix, guys? I mean, give me one word to describe this Dodgers team right now. Give me one word to describe this Dodgers team right now. We got Waff Top, $4.99. D-Mac, half of this year has been trash. Stop with the softballs and tell it like it is. This team won't see the World Series this season. I'm not ready to say that because the team that lost tonight is not the team that they're going to hopefully have when the postseason begins. If they were losing like this and you had Max Muncy and Tommy Edman and Kike Hernandez and all the relievers back, I would be saying different things and singing a different tune. But I definitely think that this team is going to hurt itself if they don't win the division or they don't finish with a top 2 seed. I don't care what anyone says. Yes, baseball is random, but Dodger Stadium is a special place. The fans make a difference. Last season, they had home field advantage throughout. They won the World Series. So don't tell me it means nothing. So I'm going crazy with your comments, though. D-Mac, the Dodgers are placing everything on the starting pitching staff this postseason. That's from Martin Troop. I mean, it definitely has the potential to be a strength, and it should be a strength, and you're absolutely right. Delirium, are we being no-hit tomorrow? I hope not. Because I like how Nomo holds that record there. We've got Julio. Some people are chatting. Sasaki is a bust. Ohtani doesn't care about winning. Being a premier bat versus starters in the past. Who's saying that? Because, that's terrible. We got what's my take on Paul Gervais? D-Mac, I mean, he's interesting. I think tonight you saw some ups. You saw kind of what he's capable of. I mean, his presence on the mound is definitely some next level stuff for sure. I think he looked good there in that 7th inning. Got some flyouts, goes 1, 2, 3. Then the 8th inning got into a little bit of trouble there. He gave up that double to Goodman. But outside of that, I mean, you want to see some more swing and miss. He did strike out Beck. He got a strikeout there. But, I mean, he's depth. That's all it is, to be honest. I don't think he has the potential to help this team in the postseason. I'll tell you that much, at least just from the outset, what I see from him. Yankees don't even have a fluke since 2000. I get a headache just watching this team right. Dodgers are blowing Padres fans laughing their arse off right now. Well, really, last time I checked, they're in second place right now, and they have 0 World Series and the loneliest trophy case in baseball. But okay, keep laughing. Trade Conforto for a Torta from Flipster. This lineup is a nightmare from R. Dutch. Yeah, I mean, you look at this lineup today, and it's, I mean, the top 4 obviously really good, but after that, after the top 4, Paz hasn't been hitting. Conforto hasn't hit in a long time. Freeland is a 180 hitter so far in his career. Kennedy is an 80 hitter in his Dodgers career. And then Rojas, the only guy that's hitting. When Rojas is your 5th best hitter, that's not a good thing. And then your best hitter went 0-for-4 tonight as far as batting average goes in Will Smith. Only guys that really showed up was Teo, the late home run, which was already a kind of a gimme home run. It was the deficit was so insurmountable at that point, it felt like. And then Ohtani got that double to start the game. But for the most part, the offense they didn't show up. They had 7 strikeouts. It was just not hard contact and just not creating rallies. It was just bad. Joe Davis from Rams fan. We've got, all right, we got still the GOAT, but he was off today. Dax players. Yeah, you're not going to see me focusing too much on the start. I mean, we broke it down, but like he's still, I mean, that was the pitcher who had the double and the walk, right? I mean, he needs some more help. D-Mac, when we sell the Bumfardo stock already from Himmy Turner? Yeah, it's I'm going to talk to my broker tomorrow. I might have to empty that portfolio for sure, but I'm trying. I'm trying to manifest, trying to help the organization out. But I do think that here's some Bilal K. So what, D-Mac? Who did Friedman give us better than Pages? Yeah, I mean, there's just not a ton of options out there for sure. That's why Edman and Kike really are so vital to, I think, the offensive turnaround. And the truth is, the concern there is that both of those guys are having below average years. So I think you just have to bet on that there's so many guys that have won rings on this team. There's so many guys that are world champions on this team that they understand how to pace themselves out to say, okay, we know it's the dog days. We know we're in a division race. We also know what you need to have in the end to be able to win a title. And I think this team feels that, but I also think right now it's more of, I don't think it's a motivation thing. I think it's a personnel thing right now. Just period, point blank, full stop. I think it's a Miles Conforto is a negative WAR player. Alex Freeland, good at defense. But I mean, here's the thing. Like, when's the last time the Dodgers have developed a hitter? Think about it. I mean, really. I mean, Pages has been above average, but he's still streaky. And like I said, sub 700 OPS 3 of the last 4 months. Alex Freeland hasn't proven to be able to hit. Don Rushing hasn't proven to be able to hit. Gavin Lux never hit consistently to the point where you felt good about it with any type of slugger power. The last Dodger that was developed to hit was Will Smith. But these guys coming up, I mean, everyone wants Ryan Ward, and I think it's the backup quarterback theory with Ryan Ward. It's like you think he'd be this great hitter in the pros, but I mean, Alex Freeland was raking, Don Rushing was raking. A lot of these guys were raking, and you haven't seen it translate in the show. It's very difficult to hit big league pitching. So it's another reason why you have to really kind of consider how everything is built. Where's Clayton Kershaw, man? Everyone gets crazy about all these new guys. That's how I check Clayton Kershaw every single time out there. His team seems to play a little better, a little more urgency, and with a little more tenacity. Just want to think about that. Chris, $2 says Conforto's a teacher's pet. Rose Moncardo, D-Mac, finally, yes, we need to develop our minor leaguers. Missed the comment. Yeah, I mean, Hesung Kim, another guy, you want him to come back and hopefully he's healthy and he produces like he did early in his career with the Dodgers. This team needs Ice Cube. There you go. I love that. We've got Rams fan. That's because Andrew drafts. Ryan Ward is the cure for everything the Dodgers are going through. Okay, Cantankerous. If they really felt that, then he'd be up. He's singing Soda Pop. We got D-Mac. I missed the prospects. We traded the Cubs and Rays. Really? You missed Johnny DeLuca? You missed Ryan Pepio? I mean, Michael Bush is solid, but Michael Bush doesn't have a spot on this team. Michael Bush is a first baseman. They have a Hall of Fame first baseman. But, yeah, I mean, Michael Bush, hey, to his credit, he has absolutely raked. And, yeah, do the Dodgers get credit for that? Does the Cubs get credit for that? Does Michael Busch get credit for that? I think all of them do. But as far as how that pie is sliced up, we'll never know. But, yeah, absolutely. Doug, will the Dodgers have an Ohtani bobble knee night? I don't know. I'm a sucker for a pun and some wordplay, so I'll give you a comment of the show for that. J Bullet TC D-Mac, what's a worse gift? Conforto Dodgers jersey or a Kimbrel Dodger jersey? Oh, my goodness. You put me on the spot. Because who knows? Baseball is weird. Who knows? I'm not saying it's going to happen or it's likely, but could Conforto go crazy when the NLCS MVP? Still on the team for now. Kimbrel, hey, Kimbrelsa was so bad, they let it go. Craig Crumble was terrible, didn't even make the DS roster. He was not as bad as people say he was. He covered a lot of innings and ate a lot of innings, but yeah, he wasn't bad. I would say that maybe right now you got to say Craig Kimbrel. Craig Kimbrel, Craig Kimbrel though, the randomness factor, the closer factor there. Yeah, I think for me, I go Kimbrel because I like the number 23 because it reminds me of Kirk Gibson and Michael Jordan and Adrian Gonzalez, and it reminds me of players that I actually liked with Conforto. Craig Kimbrel, does anyone even remember what number Craig Kimbrel wore for the Dodgers? I'll give you guys a chance to answer down below. I'll give you a hint. It is one digit above the number that Pedro Martinez wore for the Dodgers. And it was also a number that was formerly worn by Tony Gonsolin when he first made his way up. Okay, you got it. It is 46. But okay, take some more comments here, and then we'll be back tomorrow. We've got an early game tomorrow, 12 o'clock. Sasaki is a bust. Nope, I don't believe in that. Nope, he still is developing, and he's a guy that deserves some time to transition. DMAC, which MLB team would not want tonight's starting lineup? It's a good point. I mean, like, you can't do that. You can't just show up and not produce more. It's a lineup that should be doing so much better. Conforto is a teacher's pet. Okay, a couple more here, a couple more super chats. Danks199, their stubbornness will cost them in the playoffs. Colorado showed them up. And that's the other thing, too. I mean, it's the Rockies World Series, right? Say what you want. You say what you want. What happened to Rookie of the Year? Block me, D-Mac from Shab Nation. No, I don't like to block people. I only do it if you guys request me to do it. And someone's really out of line for sure. We've got, the Brewers are losing finally from Francie. This team loves to play with fire. I can't watch the game tomorrow because of school. Hey, I'll write you a note, and then you can watch the game and the post-game show. But final thoughts on this one is this Dodgers team needs to find a sense of urgency. The offense ultimately is going to be why the Dodgers win or lose in the postseason. I've said that the entire year. I think they have enough pieces coming back. The starting rotation is going to be a strength. Yes, you can have Mookie Betts and Max Muncy in the lineup today, but more often than not, for a long stretch, this Dodgers offense, after scoring double-digit runs yesterday, comes back and just did not show up. And tomorrow, I think you need an angry win. I think you need to go out there and find a way to get the split in this series, because the thing that's top of mind right now is another massive showdown with the Padres. And if you can survive San Diego leading still in this division, I think you'll have a good shot with guys coming back. But now I think that you've taken a couple steps forward and a couple of steps back. But are we going to take 2 steps forward and 3 steps back? Is it going to be 2 steps forward and 4 steps back? We'll see tomorrow and the following days. Because it felt like this Dodgers team had turned the corner. It felt like they had flipped the switch. It felt like enough was enough. And then you see nights like tonight. And it's disappointing. It's frustrating. But this team still has what it takes to win this division, to win this league, to win the pennant, and to win the World Series. But we're seeing what we need to see from guys on a negative way to make some moves. And I'm talking about Michael Conforto. I'm talking about moving Teo back to left. So if anything, you got to take this series as, hey, The bad stuff should at least push them over the top when it comes to some personnel decisions, some configuration decisions that should put this team in a better position in the long run. But for now, it's not fun to lose to the worst team in baseball. And it was a terrible night for Dodger baseball in Colorado. But I will end on a positive, and that is that Shohei Ohtani appears to be fine, and that, above all, was the most important thing. The unicorn is okay. And hopefully we see him in the lineup on Friday. That is the goal right now. We'll see what Dave Roberts says about it tomorrow. But that's going to do it for this episode of the Dodgers Nation post-game show. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. Thanks for rocking with us. Wins, losses, big games, games against the Rockies. You guys are the best chat in the game, the funniest, the smartest, the most out of pocket. But I love every one of you, and you make the show what it is. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll have a long chat session too, and we'll do an earlier show. Look for an 11 o'clock show tomorrow, maybe even earlier. I'll tweet something out, but you can find me on YouTube. But that's going to do it, guys. Remember that you can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA, and that nothing, absolutely nothing. Also, I want to send a special shout out to Antonio. Tony Tater's producing this show. But remember that nothing, absolutely nothing, brings us together quite like Dodger baseball. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
Oh, Mookie Betts with his 15th home run.
This Dodgers team is built to win back-to-back World Series.
One-of-a-kind player. One-of-a-kind season. Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone!
There's nothing that brings us together quite like Dodger baseball.